News tonight. Buhari or Shibaju, government gets 651 million naira hardship allowance. 25% saga, FCT resident ask court to stop Tinubu swearing in. The Minister of Interior, Trøùble, says state government will not accommodate inmates. The information reads that the Minister of Interior, Trøùble, says state government will now feed inmates. I'm scared Nnamdi Kanu may die in the custody of DSS or Zekume. Tenant beat up Landlady for demanding electricity bill. And lastly, on sports, we committed lots of mistakes against Burkina Faso. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. The news in detail. As many Nigerians continue to wallow in hardship, the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, state governors and their deputies may have enjoyed about 651.2 million naira hardship allowance in the last 8 years, the Buhari regime, according to findings by the Punch. The type of allowance, which is 50% of the annual basic salary, is also enjoyed by judges in the country. However, information report focuses on the amount allocated for the President, Vice President, state governors, and the deputies, according to a document obtained from the website of the Revenue, Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission. The RMAFC document disclosed that the President is entitled to 1.76 million naira annually as a hardship allowance. This means that within a period of 8 years, Buhari would have earned 14.08 million naira as hardship allowance. The Vice President is entitled to 1.52 million naira annually, which means that in 8 years, Shibaju would have earned 12.16 million naira as hardship allowance, while a state governor is entitled to 1.11 million naira annually. A deputy state governor is entitled to 106 million naira. In 8 years, the hardship allowance of the 36 state governors would have got 319.68 million naira, while that of their deputies would have got 305.28 million naira. As Buhari spent his last days in office, labor unions recently scored the regime and state governors low, saying they pauperized workers and inflicted hardship on Nigerians. They lamented the galloping inflation in the country, which they said had eroded the 40% pay rise recently approved by the federal government with effect from January. The National Treasurer of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Hakeem Ambali, submitted that the outgoing regime had inflicted heavy hardship and sufferings on Nigerian workers. According to him, the workers have suffered job losses, insecurity, economic hardship, and other calamities under Buhari's regime. From Abuja, 5 residents of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) have sued Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and the Chief Justice of Nigeria (CJN) over the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the nation's president. Tinubu, the standard-bearer of the All Progressive Congress (APC), was declared the February 25th presidential poll winner with 8,794,726 votes. However, the plaintiff, after that Tinubu failed to secure at least 25% of votes cast in the FCT. The suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/578/2023 was filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja on April 28. The plaintiff, Ayebuan Okoye, David Azet, Jeffrey Uche, Sang Paul, and Chibuike Nwachukwu sued for themselves and on behalf of other residents and registered voters in the FCT. They are asking the court to determine whether or not they have the legality to institute this suit. They are also asking the court to determine whether or not the person who is to be elected President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and consequently administrator of the FCT through the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and the Federal Capital Territory Development Authority on the first ballot is required by Section 134, bracket 2, bracket B of the Constitution to obtain at least 25% of votes cast in the FCT. Whether the plaintiffs and other residents and registered voters in the FCT, Abuja would not be discriminated against if any state within the Federal Republic of Nigeria were substituted for the FCT. Should the questions for determination be answered in the affirmative, the plaintiffs are praying for a declaration that no candidate in the February 25th presidential poll may vividly be sworn in as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria without such candidates having obtained 25% of the votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The plaintiff also wants a declaration extending President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure pending when a successor is determined in accordance with the Constitution. To the next story. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, says state government will now be feeding and accommodating inmates in their states. He said these follow the recent consultational amendment which placed correctional services on the concurrent list. Aregbesola gave the insight while speaking at a two-day high-level conference on decongestion and corrections management on Thursday in Abuja. This simply means that states are now empowered to establish their own correctional services and facilities. States which do not have correctional facilities would have to pay the federal government for the feeding and accommodation of their inmates, the minister said. According to him, this is a huge relief to the federal government, which used to shoulder the burden of accommodating and feeding inmates. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reported that in 2023, the federal government had earmarked 22.44 billion naira to feed inmates across 244 correctional facilities in the country. The minister lamented that the huge amount was draining the coffers of the federal government. However, until the amendment of the Constitution, only the federal government was in charge of custodial centers. To the next story as regards Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu's senior counsel, Mike Ozekome, on Thursday told the Supreme Court that he is scared that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, might die in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. The IPOB leader, who has been in the custody of DSS since his extradition from Kenya on June 19, 2021, faces different 15-count charges. During the court proceedings concerning Nnamdi Kanu's case, Ozekome informed the Apex Court that the IPOB leader is very sick and requires a surgical operation. The lawyer, however, asked the court to rule in favor of the transfer of Kanu from DSS custody to Kuje Correctional Center so that he can begin treatment. My lord, Nnamdi Kanu is sick. He has been approved for surgery, but they have refused to release him for treatment. Information revealed from Ozekome. We are pleading for him to be transferred from DSS custody to Kuje Correctional Center so that he can begin treatment like others. He is getting really sick. I'm scared. He may die in the custody of DSS. Dead bodies are not prosecuted. From that story, we go to Lagos. The Lagos State Police Command has arraigned one Usman Ahmed before a magistrate's court, chief magistrate court sitting in Ogudu for allegedly assaulting his landlady, Josephine Durodola, at a residence at number 25 Olani Street, Agility, in the Mile 12 area of the state. The defendant was arraigned on Thursday before Magistrate M.O. Tanimola for assault. The prosecutor, Inspector Donjo Perezi, told the court that the defendant committed the offense on April 8, 2023, around 9 p.m. at number 25 Olani Street, in Mile 12 area of the state. Perezi added that the defendant assaulted his landlady when she demanded from him money for payment of his electricity bill. According to him, the defendant hit the complainant's head against an iron gate, which caused her to be hospitalized. The prosecutor added that the offense contravenes Section 173 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State, Nigeria, 2015. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge preferred against him. The magistrate, Tanimola, therefore granted him bail in the sum of 100,000 naira with 2 sureties and life sum, and adjourned the case till May 16, 2023 for mention. From Lagos to Kano State. The police in Kano State have arrested a 25-year-old mother over the alleged kidnap of a 6-year-old daughter in Madobi local government area of Kano State. Information report that the Kano State Commissioner of Police, CP Mohammed Hussaini Gumel, disclosed this on Thursday while parading 16 suspected armed robbers, kidnappers, and drug dealers within Kano metropolis and some surrounding LGAs of the state. He said the incident happened on 5th month of 2023 when one Kabiru Shehu of Sharada Quarters, Kano Municipal Local Government, reported that his 25 years divorced wife, Rahma Suleiman, called and informed him that a 6-year-old daughter was kidnapped. She said unknown person called her through her mobile phone, demanding a sum of 3 million naira. The commissioner explained that after receiving the report, the police swung into action to rescue the victim and arrest the suspect. Gumel said that based on a follow-up investigation, the victim was rescued in Madobi LGA and a divorced wife was arrested. He said the suspect confessed to having planned, took her daughter to a hideout and demanded for the money. He said investigation was in progress and the suspect will be taken to court soon. From Kano story, we go to the foreign. Gaza militants have fired 620 rockets at Israel since Wednesday, the military said, adding that 179 had been intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense system. Airstrikes by Israeli army since Tuesday have killed fighters as well as civilians, including several children, said officials in the crowded coastal territory. Rocket fire from the Gaza Strip killed one person in the central Israeli city of Rehoboth and injured at least 2 others, Israeli police said. 3 others sustained shrapnel injuries elsewhere in Israel. Cairo was mediating effort towards a truce between Israel and the Islamic Jihad militant group, while European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell called for an immediate comprehensive ceasefire. The United States stopped short of a clear call for a truce, but State Department spokesperson Vendar Patel said the casualties were tragic and heartbreaking, while urging that steps be taken to ensure that violence is reduced. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said the bloodletting must end now, and the UN warned of a negative impact on an already difficult humanitarian situation in Gaza. Moving on to end the world news is a sports story. Golden Eaglet goalkeeper Richard Odo has attributed the team's ouster from the Under-17 AFCON in the hands of Burkina Faso to mistakes. In Thursday's quarterfinal, the Eaglet lost 2-1 to Burkina Faso to exit this year's edition. Abubakar Abdullahi reduced the deficit on the 68th minute after Burkina Faso raised to a 2-0 lead, but it was not enough as the Burkinabés held on to progress into the semi-finals, where they will face Senegal. Speaking after the disappointment of crashing out of the competition, Odo explained that the Eaglets did everything possible to get back into the game, but paid dearly for their first half errors. We did a lot of mistakes in the first half, but we tried to come back stronger in the second half, but the chance didn't come, he said on Breeder FM. God knows the best for each of us right here, and we believe we will do our best in the next level we are going. The defeat to Burkina Faso means Eaglet will not be at this year's FIFA Under-17 World Cup. Burkina Faso, Senegal, Mali, and Morocco will now represent Africa at the World Cup. With the sports story, we end the world news this hour from BGI TV Currents. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari or Shibajo, governors get 651 million naira hardship allowance. 25% saga, FCT resident asked court to stop Tinubu's swearing in. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, says state government will now feed and accommodate inmates. On to sport, we committed a lot of mistakes against Burkina Faso. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement executing services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal.